In this video, we'll look at how to buy a townhouse for the first time in 2019. That includes some of the best tips as well as how to prepare. That's starting right now.
Welcome to Home Buyers School, brought to you by Brookfield Residential.
Hi everyone, I'm Carl. Welcome to another Home Buyers School video, a channel where you get the latest strategies, tactics, and tips from home buying experts. And remember, if this is your first time on this channel and you want to get the latest strategies from the experts, hit the subscription button below, hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. So today I'm joined by Karen McDonald, community manager with Brookfield Residential. And today the question we're going to answer is, how do you buy a townhouse for the first time in 2019? So Karen, do you have any tips in terms of buying a townhouse for the first time?
I think it would be a lot like a condo in that you want to make sure you're buying in the right community. You know, do you have family around? Is it close to amenities? Is there transit available? If not, when is that coming? And yeah, just like anything else, what space do you need? How do you live? Do you need the third bedroom? This is a lot of the times, you know, families and people that have a lot of visitors, they need that third bedroom. So there's quite a few townhomes that have that option over and above maybe what an apartment style condo would.
And obviously the number one thing is making sure you're pre-approved, got your finances in order.
Number one,
and
all the
so,
time.
yeah.
Finding out what your budget is, so that you're not looking at the $600,000 condo when you really need to be at a $300,000 condo, right? I think you'll know that in advance, but make sure that you do the steps to get your approval through a bank first. And through a bank, maybe not just online with a mortgage calculator.
Yeah.
They're great to find out what your budget would be, just on a personal, but there's so many other factors that go into your mortgage approval that only a professional can give to you. So go and get your pre-approval, get the steps in place before you're seriously looking at buying a townhouse.
Do you find sometimes that, you get more of a, they've gone through a calculator, but then they come in, they think they have a price, but then they actually, when they go to the bank, they don't have that price.
Absolutely. Right. And there's the rub. So you set yourself up for disappointment, possibly, when you don't do that, because it depends on what your income is and what your debt ratio is. And again, a mortgage professional will be the best person to talk to about that, to give you the absolutes. Well, yeah, you could maybe on a monthly basis afford this payment as per the mortgage calculator, but that doesn't take into account what you're paying out in debt, what other fees that you have to pay on a monthly basis, your car loans, anything. So yes, make sure you get your pre-approval first.
So how do you, I know we talked about when we talked about how do you buy a condo for the first time, you can check out that video here in the below. How do you prepare to buy a townhouse though? Is this something a little bit different?
I think it's a little bit different because you might be at a different stage, really. Townhomes are, a lot of the times, it's a second buy for people that are moving up from their condos. They may not quite be ready to buy that single family home yet, but they want a little bit more space. Maybe they want the attached garage, a little bit of outdoor space as well too. So that would be something different from buying a condo. But really it's, what are you the separation of space in a townhome, it'll have more stairs for sure. So those are the kind of things that would be a little bit different in townhomes compared to condos.
So is it cheaper to buy a condo or a townhouse, which is less expensive, but most likely you probably think condo, but for resale value, is it the same or it depends?
I think it depends. Again, if you're looking at apartment buildings that are infills, inner city, certain high value locations, then you're going to be paying a premium for those, regardless of what the size is. Comparable to something in the burbs that might be the same size, you could pay, half of what the price would be. So location is at a premium always. But other than that, townhouse compared to a condo would just be, you have a difference in ownership as well too. You could own the land for a townhome as well that you'd have to maintain. So it depends on what type of townhome you're buying and what your responsibilities are as far as maintenance go.
So let's do a little quick step-by-step guide on how to buy a townhouse. So obviously same things, get your finances in order,
Yes.
right? Make sure you know the I guess what the max that you can possibly buy. Again, don't go all the way to the max.
Yep.
Right? Location, right?
Yes.
So where you want to personally live with
Yeah.
you and your family. And then you go obviously into understanding lifestyle. Now I think although with a townhouse you do have a little bit more options in terms of type, right?
Well, there is, yeah. There's different types of townhomes, and what they are is you'll have a redivided or a barely blended, and the ownership in that is where you own from the drywall in. So you have all of this that you own, right? Rather than just the air and the space, because those hand gestures mean that space.
Okay.
Bare land is where you own from pegs in the ground. So you actually own the land of a bare land townhome.
Okay.
And so in that case, you may have condo fees that do or do not maintain that property
Yes.
for you. So look into that, know what the ownership is. And again, the lifestyle. If you want to have a yard, a lot of the bare land condos don't charge you condo fees because you're maintaining that yard yourself as well too. So it's kind of, I guess, the next step from kind of that apartment living, townhome living where you're maintenance free. Maybe if you want a little bit more space, you can get into a bare land condo. Difference in price point of those ones typically as well too. But you're going to have land, maybe a little bit more yard space that you can have kids or dogs or anything like that in that home.
But you still share the same wall
Yes.
as another person,
Absolutely.
Right?
You would still be connected.
It's kind of similar to a duplex kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
it would be.
Right.
It would be in that almost the same in a bare land, that you are responsible for maintaining that property. You should hope that your neighbor is also going to be as responsible as you are in maintaining that property. But that is also something that you need to consider, is that when you're buying a bare land condo and you're maintaining that, your neighbor's maintaining that as well too. Hopefully it's all maintained at the same.
Yes.
In something where you are paying the condo fees that maintain the property for you, you know it's going to be consistent in the maintenance of the exterior, and all of the landscaping and the snow removal is going to be the same as well too. So there's a difference in that.
It's actually quite similar to the discussion I had in terms of a single family home versus a duplex, right? And if you want to know more about that, check that video up here in the description below. But like in terms of a duplex, you're kind of at the mercy of your neighbors too. So even if you maintain your townhouse, if the other person doesn't maintain it as well, it's gonna look kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's you might want to, if you go and sell your semi-detached home, you might want to give your neighbor a nudge and say, hey, I'm selling, can you kind of maintain your yard a little bit more? Because that will affect your overall property value and how attractive that is to a potential buyer as well too. And I guess that's something that is a pro for townhome living and the maintenance-free lifestyle, is that you know that the exterior is going to be maintained to the same level all the way around. And so it does maintain your investment in that property the same as what your neighbors is as well. So you're not at mercy of somebody else and how they choose to live.
Got it. So let's just quickly finish the step by step. So you've picked your you picked your townhouse. Yes. So what are the things you
Yeah, the next step is, of course, depending on resale or new, writing up the agreement. With anything that's townhome related in the province of Alberta, you have 10 days to review all of the condominium documentation. So that will have redivision plans, bylaws, budgets that are put forward as well too, and any other kind of site maps, landscaping plans associated with that, phasing agreements, management agreements, a whole load of things that you need to review. That's what you have the 10 days for. So within that 10 days, they form part of the agreement. So if there's anything within those documents that you do not agree with, that you cannot accept, then you're able to cancel your agreement. And that's without any liability for doing so through the agent or through the builder. But if you go through and you accept all that documentation, a lot of the times you'll need, approval of financing as well too, proof of that. And then you can give your second deposit and sign off your waiver of conditions with your sales rep.
Perfect. Do you have anything else to add in terms of buying a townhouse for the first time?
I think buying resale, making sure that you know what the budget is. If there's any financials available through the condo board, that's important to get as well too. A lot of the times with the new builds, they'll just give you all the documentation initially, reviewing that. You can employ somebody to do the condo docs review for you at an additional cost. But to give you that peace of mind, they'll go through it and make sure that you're alerted to any kind of points that you may have issue with. So that's something that you want to consider as well.
Great. So the question of the day I have for you is, was your first home a townhouse, and what was your experience? Let us know in the comment section below. If you want to know more about buying a condo for the first time, check out our playlist here, as well as other home buying videos here. And don't forget to subscribe to keep learning from the experts. We'll see you in our next video.